Okay, I think I'm live. Do let me know. I'm 2 minutes earlier than planned, but hey, let's hope this time it works well, right? Like no lagging and stuff like that. Yeah, Lemon. I see someone called Lemon. 1980. Hello, Alan. Like, how do you manage to always be like at my live stream? Do you have like a clock like you keep specifically just for me? It's pretty incredible. Hello. Hello. I am 2 minutes earlier, so I'm just gonna wait for a bit. 12 night. I'm so bad at pronouncing name. Oolong tea. Oh, okay, that one I know. Bruna Quoko? Okay, I'm just gonna stop butchering people's name. Hello everyone, wherever you are, whatever time it is in your place. Pauline finally called live stream. Hi, you know, not too late. Number 14th. Thank you for turning on reminder. I'm early, yeah, I'm a 1 or 2 minute early. Every time I try to do live stream, it's like gamble, because you don't actually know when you click go live what would happen. Like the back end of YouTube is very, very creative. It just often does things on itself, unexpected. 少女大人 yeah, some people are like maiden homes. It's so hard for me to remember the English titles. Yeah, that drama, I feel it's so... Why don't they use the real voices of the actors? They sound okay. I don't understand why. Like that drama is also dubbed. Like, why? But anyway, I am very good, thank you. How's everyone? It's September. I don't know like what the weather is like wherever you are. Here it's ridiculous. I think I've been here for 8 years. This is the coldest September I've had in 8 years. In terms of like getting cold really early on, because usually I'd say towards the end of September is when it's really gets like cold and stuff here. But this year is different. Like the first week of September, it started to go really cold. My heating is on. I've turned it on last night. It was too cold. Burning hell. Oh, California. Yeah, I know. It's really bad in California. Every year you have that, right? I think honestly speaking, in terms of natural resources and geography and whatever, California is really a state that shouldn't have people living in it. In terms of like its water resource, its weather, its everything. But you know, humans, right? I mean, honestly, like Winnipeg is not really inhabitable either. Not like a really nice place. The soil is super clayey. It's basically the basin of a receding glacier. So like boulders come out of the earth every year in farm fields still till today. And it's so cold in winter here. Like the soil is just like not ideal for building stuff, and it floods, although they built the floodway, so now it doesn't really, you know, like happen that often. But like when you consider, right, all the natural stuff in this place, it's like don't just put settlement here. But hey, you know, humans. I mean, people create like cities in deserts, you know, so. Hello everyone from London, from all over the world. It's so great to see you. Wendy Wood, hi, first time. A lot of first timers. Welcome to Avenue X's stream. We are gonna talk about Yeah, dramas, right? And a little bit about Mulan, because yeah, okay. I'm just gonna wait for a little bit more, and we can start first talk about Mulan. I'm not gonna do a film review. I don't think so, because I'm gonna talk mostly about Mulan here, and like my opinions would just be, if people are interested, they can check it out. I don't want to make a separate video talking about it, because probably in this live stream I'm just gonna say everything. There's no need to repeat myself. It just takes more time to watch it because it's live. There's no editing. I don't edit my breath out. I can't do that in live, so. Hello, people from all over the world, from Boston, Indonesia, Melbourne. Wow. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. Australia. Why aren't you sleeping? Do you not need to do anything tomorrow? Which would be your today already. Well, if I talk about Mulan, it's not possible to not spoil it. But then, like, it doesn't really have any spoiling problem, because who hasn't seen the animation version? Don't tell me like you don't know like what the story of Mulan is. Everybody knows what happens in these things, right? Singapore, Romania, so cool. No, I didn't pay close to like 30. I think 35 would be the Canadian, and then you have to have like Disney subscription, so you have to add that on top. It's like at least $40 to $50 just to see this movie. It's ridiculous. No way. Do you realize I'm Chinese? In terms of being Chinese, there's one good thing is like it doesn't even take an effort to get anything. I didn't even try. Like literally I was doing other stuff and somebody just WeChatted me and they just sent me a link. So go and watch Mulan. It's there. High definition, free. I'm like, okay. Like I don't even need to go and search. People literally drop it on me. So it's just like one of the perks of being Chinese. Yeah, a friend of mine, she literally just sent it to me. She's like, you can watch it here. I just finished watching it. I'm like, okay. Okay, fine. It really isn't worth your money, that's the thing. You know, like, if you have like 50 Canadian dollars lying around, buy a nice, I don't know, sweater or something. Just don't spend it on this movie. It's not worth it. Disney is, yeah. They spent, I think the budget for this film is like close to 300 million USD. I'm like, where did the money go? Okay, so we're gonna talk about Mulan first, and then see like what time we have, and then we can discuss other drama stuff. I want to first just do a little bit introduction about Mulan's legend. I think a lot of people already know, but you know, just talk about that first, then we can talk about the film. But do realize like it's Disney's basically taking one very simple sort of idea or story and making their version, and then make a live action based on the previous animation. So it's like already being worked on multiple levels. It doesn't really have to have anything to do with the actual legend in China's literature or history. You know, it's actually not really history. So basically, the Legend of Mulan comes from a ballad, a poem, sort of mid-length, a little bit long poem that today we would say it traces back to Beichao, North dynasties, which if you watch a lot of my videos, you know the North and Nanbeichao in China's time, which is South and North, or Southern and Northern dynasties. It's a period that happened after Jin dynasty, which is after the Three Kingdoms. And it is during this period that China is very divided. and mainly divided into two parts, the northern and the southern. And in terms of who is holding the power of the north and south, it changes during that 1.5 century. Power shifts. Bigger countries gets broken into smaller countries, different surnames coming and take power. So it's a mess, basically. Nanbei Chao, south and north dynasties, is a mess. And it happens about end of 4th century to about middle of the 6th century. And after that, you come across Sui, which is a very short-lived 2-emperor dynasty. And then it goes to the Tang, the most well-known, one of the most well-known dynasty. So Nanbei is a really divided, messy part. And the ballad comes from that time. And due to what particular words, vocabulary are used in that poem, we can kind of guess it comes from the northern part at that time, which we would call Bei Wei, Northern Wei. Northern Wei. And Northern Wei's power is actually not held by Han people. It's Xianbei, which is an ethnic group that today no longer exists, you know. But so they are actually not the typical Middle Kingdom Han ruled China. They are the northern China that actually are controlled by a different ethnic group. And because of the vocabulary that's used in the ballad, we can say the story is set in that northern country where Mulan is a member of that society. So it's actually not a very typically more Han-oriented culture. Yeah, it's weird. I don't think that Western people even bother to look into it. So the thing with Mulan fighting against the even northerner tribe, which is at that time called Rouran. So I'm gonna switch a map on to my screen, hopefully, and you will be able to see what I mean. I'm not very good at doing these things. Okay, I'm gonna try to make it work so you get a good idea. I'm gonna switch screen. So this is a map. Let me see if it's actually showing on the stream. So that, okay, it is. Okay, good. Right. So this is a southern and northern dynasties China. So if you can see my cursor, this is the south part, which is Song. And it's not always Song. So during those dynasties, it has been changing later to Chen, like different dynasties, but roughly they move around this area. That's the southern country. And this is the northern. And everything else is actually other people that we would consider in terms of if you compare Middle Kingdom to the surrounding, more nomadic culture and powers. So it's actually really complicated. If you look at this part, which is called Rouran, it looks like it's today's Inner Mongolia plus parts of Mongolia. And that was where in Mulan's live action film, the bad guy, the bad people, you know, the invaders come from. So Mulan is from this country, which is Wei, Northern Wei, which is the northern country. And then the southern country at that time is Song, which is run by the Liu family. If you watch Song of Glory, led by Qin Hao and Li Qing, their story takes place in this part. And that is actually Jiankang, that is the capital. So basically Mulan is roughly the same time, existing at the same time as Song of Glory's characters, but she's in this country. So if you look at where this country is, this is, we consider a northern, because this is like a Yellow River. You can see this is Yellow River. So she is from this part. Now the funny thing about this film when it starts is they live in this surround complex building that many people live in, which is Mulan's home. That is very, very Fujian architecture. It does not exist anywhere apart from being like at the very south of China. So first mistake it has is Mulan would not live in that kind of place. Like the building would not be like that. She would be somewhere here, and she fights the enemy who comes from there. Okay, so I'm gonna switch that off. Done. Okay, I think I'm lagging a little bit previously. Hopefully things did get through. Okay, so the ballad, the poem, because what we can trace back is written during that time and it's written sort of set in that country, then we mostly would presume Mulan is somebody who is from Beiwei, Northern Wei. But she is really a fictional character. There is no proof that this person ever existed in history as a real person. It's more like a legend, you know, like Robin Hood. You know, like can you prove like, you know, that type of person really existed type of thing? So that is the historical background. Clearly, Disney doesn't care, or maybe they know, they just don't think it's necessary to go like that deep into history. So they mishmash everything Chinese that is contemporary China and put it back 1,500 years ago, which has nothing to do with history and really, you know, like whatever. Okay, let me see if I'm like super frozen. And if you couldn't if you could still hear me, you know, I don't think it matters too much. It's weird because my internet connection is good. YouTube just doesn't like me. Not receiving enough videos to maintain smooth streaming. What can I say? So that's the background for Mulan. Okay, so let me try to, I can recite that poem actually. I picked it up yesterday just to, you know, like polish it a bit because it's something we have to remember when we were in school. Is it still frozen? Like, let me know if the images are still frozen. Like, I can't tell. This is very annoying. Why? My internet is already the fastest I can get from where I am. Okay, so I can quickly recite that ballad so you get an idea about how big it is in terms of length. And basically it tells the story of Mulan, like trying to, like her father gets drafted and so she's like, I'm gonna go, and she goes and then she fights and for 12 years and she comes back and her family welcomes her, and then she dresses up as a girl again, coming out to meet all her soldier mates, and they were all surprised that for 12 years they didn't know she is a woman. That's the entire ballad basically. Okay, trying to do that. To prove that I'm reciting it, I'm just gonna, this is a blank fan, I'm just gonna cover that, so I'm not actually looking at anything at all. 唧唧复唧唧，木兰当户织。不闻机杼声，惟闻女叹息。问女何所思？问女何所忆？女亦无所思，女亦无所忆。昨夜见军帖，可汗大点兵。军书12卷，卷卷有爷名。阿爷无大儿，木兰无长兄。愿为山马，从此替父征。东市买骏马，西市买鞍鞯，南市买辔头，北市买长鞭。但辞爷娘去，暮宿黄河边。不闻爷娘唤女声，但闻黄河流水鸣溅溅。但辞黄河去，暮至黑山头。不闻爷娘唤女声，但闻燕山胡骑鸣啾啾。万里赴戎机，关山度若飞。朔气传金柝，寒光照铁衣。将军百战死，将士10年归。归来见天子，天子坐明堂。策勋12转，赏赐百千强。可汗问所欲，木兰不用尚书郎。愿驰千里足，送儿还故乡。爷娘闻女来，出郭相扶将。阿姊闻妹来，当户理红妆。小弟闻姊来，磨刀霍霍向猪羊。开我东阁门，坐我西阁床。脱我战时袍，着我旧时裳。当窗理云鬓，对镜贴花黄。出门看伙伴，伙伴皆惊忙。同行12年，不知木兰是女郎。雄兔脚扑朔，雌兔眼迷离。双兔傍地走，安能辨我是雄雌？当，哈哈哈哈哈。So, I have just recited the whole thing. It's no big deal because it's really easy. It's very rhymed, and like I think it was like middle school, something like middle school that you have to. It's one of those things. Anyway, it tells the whole story. So that's about how long. The entirety of Mulan's story comes from that poem. There's like no historical record, there's nothing else. It all comes from that poem. So there's only that much content there. Like, yeah, you see, it's a story, it's really not history. How did you learn? It's Chinese textbook for students. What we have to learn as we grow up. There are even crazier ones like 琵琶行并序, which is, it's just super long. Anyway, we have to recite a lot of things. Don't you have to recite poetry when you grow up learning your own like language or literature? I'm pretty sure every country has its like tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night sort of thing. Or the daffodil thing for all the British people. You know what I'm talking about. So that's how much there is. So now I'm gonna talk about what I think about the film. I think, yeah, mostly it's just like, I don't know what to praise about it, apart from like it's high definition and people are all in focus. Like, if you're talking about cinematography, yeah, that's the only good thing I can see. I mean, I'm not even a fan of how they move camera, and also editing, like how they edit stuff together is very disorientating and not establishing well. But okay, so that's probably the only good thing. Like, some of the lightings are really good, but like it's what you expect coming from Disney, right? So the good things are that. The problems I see, the biggest problem, okay, I actually don't really mind that they don't do research into history at all, because this is really a legend, it's not really history. So you can go as crazy as far as you want if you want to tell a story that you see fit. I think as a visual storytelling, the biggest problem it has is it is just a really weakly written story in terms of its characters, the plot. It's a very typical sort of hero's journey story, like somebody who is from a humble background, who is like, you know, not recognized for their value in the society, and gradually through their own working, get to the top of that, whatever, and become a hero, right? This is a very typical hero's journey story. There are millions and millions of stories like that in films as well. It's no different. But when you're writing this type of story, there really is a formula in terms of how you write it and how you create lovely, convincing, you know, like good characters. This film just doesn't do it. It totally goes against the basic rules of writing a hero's journey. Basically, it gives her plot armor and main character's halo right from the first moment. It's not that Mulan did anything through her own hard work, her perseverance, her courage, like none. It's all because she is born with it. They gave her this weird chi idea, which is just totally like, what? It's not even misrepresentation of what we consider to be qi in China. It's just like they invented a magical thing that just does not exist in Chinese culture in that way, and she is born with it. So she like is naturally like hopping on roofs and defying gravity and whatever superpower she has. And her father is basically like, you're a girl, so you can have it. If you're a guy, you can. And because you're a girl, you have it, then the world will consider you as, you'll be exiled. It's a disgrace. I'm like, where does that come from? Anyway, because of that. So she actually has already the power to basically defeat any enemies if she wishes, and she just hides it. And it's only when she got into the army, it got to the point where she needs to use it, that she releases it. So like, where's the value of that struggle of becoming, you know, the hero that against all odds? Like, there's really no odds. It's just basically at what point you decide to show your power. It totally changes the baseline, like the meaning of the story. So that's the biggest problem. It's not a convincing hero's journey story at all. Wouldn't you agree with that? Like, why would I want to see, you know, just in Chinese, what we call this 主角光环, right? Like the main character's halo. Okay, so that's the biggest problem. once you have that, like no matter what you do, it's just the second thing is, I think I made a video many years ago when they first announced the casting choice about Mulan, because in that I said what Mulan means to Chinese people and what the animation version has done, which is a lot of added characters and like for animation's sake. So if they're making a shot by shot live action version, I wasn't sure how well it would work in terms of a talking dragon, a cricket, and there's still a lot of misrepresentations of how that ancestral thing to Chinese people work. So I was worried about that. But after I've seen this film, I'm actually like, had they done that, it might be better. Because at least it would be happy, it would be fun, it would be the cricket and the dragon singing and dancing and whatever. Like, just give me magic, because Disney is supposed to be about that. It just go crazy with it. Like, you know, although Aladdin got really Bollywood and Beauty and Beast is just, but they have good songs, okay? Like Evermore is one of my favorite from the live action series that's newly made for the live action series. Dan Stevens. It's just, can I just fangirl a little bit? Anyway, give us that too. Like good singing. Like I'm happy. Like, because some of the songs in Mulan are really good. And they just didn't bother to put any of those into this film at all. So they took out all the fun of the original animation. They took out all the song in that. They made her plot armored and super powerful. So like what's left there? That's also like a one thing I'm just like, I'm like, it may actually be more fun if they did a shot by shot. Maybe that's because like CGI budget will be too high to create a believable dragon on her palm that's like also in the realistic look setting. Maybe that's why. I have no idea. Anyway, so the fun is gone and the message is really warped. And so the third thing is what I talked about earlier, mentioned a little bit about the fathers, like about this thing throughout this film. They have this very feminism, this very identity politics feel of the story that is just so, at least I think to Chinese people, it is not selling at all. It's basically saying you're a woman, therefore you get looked down upon. And also because you have superpower that other people do not have, it's like a witch hunt thing. So your value literally comes from what you're naturally born with. It's not through your work, through any of your own effort. It is a version of categorizing people based on the natural sort of attributes they have. When you think about that, it's just so shallow. It's another form of discrimination, really. And it doesn't make logical sense either. Like they made up this thing that the father told her is like, you're a girl, you're a daughter, you're not meant to have this power. If you have it, you're a disgrace and dishonor. Like why? Why just because she's a girl, then if she has power, she's disgraced? Like explain it. Like in your magical China setting that does not exist anyway in the real world. If you made it up, like give us a reason why. No, it just says it is. Which is like, fine, if you say so. At least that never existed in China. Like, I don't see, like, you hear me, it's fine. I'm lagging, I think I'm lagging again. So that is a really, and also they like to put the big ideas out, not through what visual medium are supposed to do, which is show. You know, show and tell, like the very classic thing people always talk about filmmaking is just show us through plot, through interactions, through what people speak and what they do. The big ideas is what you try to convey, but not just say it out loudly in words. Like the only lines I can remember after I watch this film is brave, loyal, and true. Am I being brave? Am I being loyal? Am I being true? It's like chanting mantra. It's like I'm trying to get into a Zen mood of just Amitofa, Amitofa, Amitofa. The whole film is just loyal, brave, and true, loyal, brave, and true, loyal, brave, and true, loyal, brave, and true. Like, it just keeps saying that. Everybody say like everybody's just saying it. Nobody's doing anything for it. Like, you're not proving it to me through what you do. It's just like exercises of mouth and tongue. It's so bland. So that's also a big problem. Mainly those problems. And in terms of like the look of the film, just if you watch enough Chinese dramas, you know, like, it looks ridiculous, right? It's so mishmash of everything. And it's not even like there is this I think there's this twit on Twitter that's very widely spread in China, which is this film, or maybe somebody's comment, I forgot. This film looks even exotic to Chinese people. Because we clearly have never known China like that. There's so many things that we can just talk about that is ridiculous in this film. Like the color palette in the beginning. I'm like, wow, it's overkill. Not to talk about in ancient times, if people actually have the ability to dye things that colorfully. Because do you know like how hard it is to dye very colorful things? Certain colors do not even exist for certain cultures for hundreds of years, thousands of years, literally because they don't have the material. Like certain blue, certain purple, certain red are like impossible to get in ancient times without like modern chemistry. And everybody dresses like oversaturated neon lights. I'm like, it's so ugly. The colors don't go together. They look so ugly. And like the young Mulan, when she's chasing the chicken on the roof, like, what is she wearing? What the heck is that? It's close to yoga pants. Like, what is that? And then all the later things just look ridiculous too. Her makeup is terrible. Like the matchmaker scene. I know they're kind of trying to base it on a particular type of makeup that existed in China's history, which is true. Like if you look at paintings and look at historical records, different times people do it differently. And ancient people tend to do very exaggerated makeup. That's true. It's very different from our aesthetic today. Very painted face, very crazy eyebrows and stuff. But if you look at carefully about like how they do it, there's a lot of very detailed, very fine design of it. Like how the blush goes from this to the, like there's a gradient and how fine it goes. There's aesthetic behind it. It has to look pretty under its sort of aesthetic framework. It cannot just be randomly putting blotches of colors on your face. But if you look at how they did those makeup, the color, it's so bad. It's like Disney can afford really good makeup and makeup artists. You can even airbrush certain things on face if you want. It's not that hard. It looks so cheap and bad. Oh my god! Like, if you look at some of the China's recreation costume and makeup of a particular period that is everywhere online, you can just search. There's actually groups of people in China who are dedicated to do that. It's still very painted white face and stuff, but it looks so elegant and pretty. Like, I don't know, like the people who are in charge of the looks of things just do not have basic idea about what looks pretty and what looks ugly. Or there is this weird, I don't know, I would observe it as this thing, the Orientalism thing hasn't really gone away in the general sort of Western's impression of Asia, particularly China. And this thing is really warped to start with, the Orientalism look of things. And somehow the West is happy to perceive China in that way, in its color, in its lighting, in it, like at the final scene when they're in the imperial hall and all the ladies and whatever people are standing there. Like if you look at that color, the clothing, that everything, it is so grotesque. That's the word I can come up with. Because I don't know, like for any normal human's aesthetics, anyone would consider those things look pretty. You know, like we're all humans. We have like all weird fascinations about golden ratio and things. There are things that are pretty same, you know, like cross the board. It just looks so ugly ass, so bad. And I almost feel like they intentionally want to submit to that. Because It is something that existed, and people are comfortable with this narrative of, the Orientalism thing. And, like the Western people wouldn't find it problematic. But to Chinese person, it's just like, it looks ugly. Like, we don't care. It's just ugly. and it feels like you're intentionally trying to make it look bad to Chinese audiences. So nobody would buy into that. Everybody is just so not happy with the looks of things in this film. And it's so coarse that like the texture of the clothing, how the tailorship works is just like bad. Like, do you remember Wen Mingna, like the previous Mulan who voiced Mulan, when she showed up at the end of the scene just as a guest kind of like cameo role? Like, there's a shot of her, like trails of her dress, and then it goes up like she's walking on that carpet, that green dress. There's this, I don't know what kind of embroidered bird on that clothes. Like, if you look closely, like, what the heck is that chicken? It looks so ugly. Oh my god. It's worse than Taobao clothing, really. It's just ugly, okay? So we do not accept that. And if you want to go into detail about like what part of the armor, and like, it's a hot mess. A hot mess. Nothing is real. Like, they mix a little bit of this dynasty style with that dynasty style, and then added a little bit of their own imagination and a crazy color palette that just would never exist in history at that time. Like, the soldiers on the wall in the city in that blue. Oh my god, like, that blue is too blue. No way they can dye soldiers' clothes with that bright blue. Like, they would go bankrupt. Do you know like how expensive blue dye is? Ancient history. Like, I can rant about that forever. It's just so, just add everything we think look good and together and whatever. This is what they decide to do with Mulan. So in terms of looks and things, just don't take it seriously at all. None of that. What else can we rant about? I'm just trying to pick out the stuff. Oh, and what's the point of the phoenix? It's like a paper kite that's been flying in the sky and only she can see. And it never interacts with her, really. It doesn't really give her any... Apart from being a road sign for a couple of times, it has no magic. Like, it doesn't interact. It's so random. Like, it doesn't need to be there. The phoenix. And like, they're depicting the war between Mulan's country and against the northern tribal people, as if it is two villages fighting against each other. It's too small scale. But besides, also, just one extra information for you is, because Mulan is from Northern Dynasty's Beiwei, in the poem, in the ballad that I recited, it says 可汗大点兵, which means the king drafted people. 可汗is Khan, is Khan. So basically, for Mulan's country, their emperor is not the Middle Kingdom emperor. Their emperor is called Khan. And the Rouran, the northern tribal people, right, in this film is Khan. So, you see how weird? Is actually Mulan's emperor would be a Khan, and the northern tribal would be a different power. Like, all those things get mixed up anyway. But that's a small thing. What I'm talking about is, like, in the beginning, when they charge at the city, there's like, how many people? Go and count it. It's like 13 or 14 people on horse, and they can take down a city gate, and they're like anti-gravity, and I'm like, huh? And also, like, when Mulan is like about to do the avalanche thing, the two armies are on the open field. If you look at how many people are versing each other, there are probably CGI stuff on it. And then one of the person, I think the general is saying, charge, like, the left flank charge. Okay, and then the shot shows 7 horses go out, and all the left flank is staying there. They're not moving because Mulan is going with the other 7 people, whatever, and they're gonna run into the witch. So for the convenience of the plot, 7 people chase down 12 people, and the entire army just sits there. I know it's animation adaptation, but can you just be a little bit respectful to reality? At that point, I'm like, whatever, you know, like, not to mention, like, when they run to a location and they pick probably really good looking locations, it's no longer in the same place. Like, it suddenly gets to this magical yellow landscape with mist coming out. Whatever, okay. Have fun with it. Although I think in China, the only thing people are really digging is the CP between Mulan and Gong Li's character, the witch. Because, you know, people get the GL vibe out of it. It's like, yeah, that looks cool. Like, a lot of, like, GL fans are totally just doing fan edits out of that. So, that's the only good thing I can see. People are really enjoying. Oh, and also, like, they totally reckoned every other character. Because of the Me Too thing, they think it's not a good idea to have the boss of Mulan fall in love with her. So they divide the character into 2, which is Zhen Zidan's character and the so-called male lead character who barely shows up on screen. And then the other soldiers that in the animation are each very interesting, like the monk, the fatter guy, the skinnier guy. They all have, like, a lot of funny moments in the animation. Like, after watching the film, can you remember who is who? Like, they don't even have screen time, don't even have name. It's like, in terms of Liu Yifei's acting, I would say she's okay in this film because, like, you can give this role, like, the exact same script to any other capable actress, more capable. I doubt they do much better. I doubt they do much better because they're so limited. The script is so limited. The character is so two-dimensional and uninteresting. Like, who can do that magic, you know? Like, even if you're like Morgan Freeman, who can read a manual like a poem, it would just sound better. That's all. It's still not gonna make the character better. I don't think her acting is too problematic. Like, Gong Li is a fascinating actress, but, like, even her is like, with that role, like, how much can you do? And her role is also, like, not logical. Like, nobody is actually, when you think about the logic behind all the characters, it does not make sense. In terms of, for example, Gong Li, the witch, is added in for girl power purpose. But if you want to run a parallel line, right, of a arch enemy, bad person, and a good person, and they are actually the same kind of people but on different sides, like the different sides of the coin, is very also classic way of writing, you know, like your hero and anti-hero. You have to show us how they're paralleled and let us get the idea. Like, let the audience, oh, we see what you're doing. Not telling us, again, they're on the ridge of the mountain. And she literally walks up to Mulan and says, we are the same. Spoiler alert! Scriptwriter, what are you thinking? It's just like such bad writing. It's just not acceptable. It's so bad. It's in your face, right? And also, like, the reason why she is doing the work for the bad guy does not make sense. Like, he treats her horribly. He treats her like his slave, and she is far more powerful. She can turn into stuff. She has magic. That guy just has brute strength. I mean, he can't fly, right? So, in that power, like, structure, how does that work? If this guy is so annoying and not accepting your value, get rid of him. Just kill him and take his place, because none of his soldiers have superpowers, and if they rebel, you can just be the badass and say, if you do that, I'll kill you. Why don't you just take over the power? Like, is there some kind of weird magical structure in the story that they didn't explain that a woman just cannot do it? Like, in the physics of Mulan's world, that does not work? I don't understand why she is like, I have to work with this guy who does not like me, who does not treat me with respect, and who is less powerful than me. What is stopping you? So like when you think about the logics, nothing works. It's just like a mess. It's not even like not being able to stand scrutinizing. It's just doesn't even follow basic logic of how things work. So, well, somebody said, they probably got a scriptwriter off Fiverr. Why Gong Li kill herself? Yeah, I don't know. Because they want to pull the G... Because GL line is popular recently. After Frozen? I don't know. Because the male lead is so like not having 存在感, which is like the feel of existence in this film. Like he literally does not exist. Like, can you remember like how many scenes he's in and what's the purpose of his existence? There's hardly anybody else you can use for Mulan to have like a meaningful human emotional connection. So they picked the witch. Anyway, this film is just like so, and it's sad. It's so sad. Like none of the music even made the way into the film itself. And they wrote this song, like this new song for this film for what purpose? Jurassic World and Avatar. Oh, holy moly. Okay. Well, we see why. Well, if you want to look at Mulan's film, probably Zhao Wei and Chen Kun's. It's the only one, really, that is there in China. That's a film. And then we have a television series that's much older. It's led by Yuan Yongyi and Zhao Wenzuo, Sun Xing. But it's really, really old, so I don't think you can find like subtitles. And it's like 4:3 ratio back in the days. It's a really good drama though. Yuan Yongyi is so good. I love her as Mulan. In terms of live action, I think she's my favorite. She's really pretty, but she sells it too. And I love like how, especially after she got married, the type of story that happened in that drama. It's pretty enjoyable. It's very old. I think like if you know, if you've heard about that drama, very old. It's just called Huanglan. It's really old. Zhao Wei's Mulan the film, it's okay. They added also the romantic line, which is definitely not in the ballad, but I understand they need a male lead character, you know? Who else to be that? Okay, I'm just checking a message. It's coming to me very quickly. Yeah, so, yeah. I think I've rented most of the stuff I want to rent about this film. I feel really sad. I feel really sad, but I kind of also feel they made a really... Okay, I'm just gonna pick up... 我现在在直播，我一会儿给你打过去吧。I have a friend who is studying philosophy. Yeah, and you know, studying philosophy in your second language is not enjoyable. Yeah. Anyway, I'll call him later. Let me just check out some of the questions and stuff because I haven't had time really to look at the stuff. Yeah, in terms of Tiger Rose, I think they intentionally made it that way. Like named her Hua as Han Shuo's mother kind of refer to the legend of Mulan, but obviously it's a fictional world, right? So Jet Li is awesome, yeah, but the Emperor can fight himself, like he can fight like that, like also like the palace, it's just so empty, and there's no guards in it. I'm like, no, there's no way that it happens like that. Do you understand like what imperial means? They can just get in there so easily. I'm going fine, whatever. Oh, also Li Lianjie's clothes, like the costume. There's one of the earlier costume that he's wearing a white, like a black hat, and like 10 layers of colors. Whoever designed that should eat their pen and eat their drawing board. It's that bad, okay? He looks like a bamboo shoot. And like, what the heck is that? It's so ugly ass. When I look at that, I'm like, oh, it screams horrible Orientalism. The next moment, I feel like a zombie is gonna wearing Qin Dynasty official's costume and jump out and start to hop. It is that bad. Yeah, I know. Game of Thrones producer. They're gonna do the Netflix version of Three Body Problems. Good luck. You're gonna F it up epically. Because China is doing its own version too. So we'll see. There's no way that Netflix can make that work. I can guarantee you. It's not because of technology or like the idea behind Three Bodies Problem is something I don't think those Western mainstream media people will get or agree with, or they will be too not daring to take it on. Because in a way, the really ugly side of humanity that you see in the Three Bodies Problem is happening right now in this world because of 2020. It's very parallel, it's very ironic, but it's ongoing. I don't think the Western mainstream media people would be, first of all, even acknowledge what is in that book and what is happening in the world now. They will not be daring enough to take it on. They probably will willingly ignore the message behind it and twist it in their own way. Like, I just don't trust. Like, you can F up a ballad of Mulan that is so simple, so badly. You want to take on Three Body Problem? Good luck. Good luck. You cannot even write a good ending for medieval setting, power struggle story. You totally butchered the last season of Game of Thrones. Good luck trying to take on the universe. I'm just not gonna trust in that at all. Three Body Problem is a Hugo Award, Hugo scientific sci-fi award winning novel a couple of years ago, but that's the first book of the 3-book series that got the award. I've made a video about it. Go and check it. Just search my video, you'll find it about what it is. It's definitely a big idea novel. It's a very gloomy sort of outlook of humanity and the universe in general, but it's pretty it basically will make you feel the chill existential threat and you question about basically like what's the point. But it's really interesting concept and page turner for sure. So I think I've ranted most about Mulan, so I'm gonna stop talking about Mulan here. It's already an hour. Can you see that? Which is why I'm not making another video. If people are curious about what I think about Mulan, they can just come back to this and I'll time code it later. That's all on Mulan. I'm happy I didn't spend like 50 Canadian dollars for it. End of story. Okay. Currently watching dramas. I'm watching Ordinary Glory. I really like it. In terms of the other one, To Dear Self, I haven't really caught up with it yet. The first 2 episodes, I feel really like not interested in the story. We'll see what happens later. Sisyphus finished today. I will make a video talking about it. It's not the story per se being bad. It is how they are doing it that makes me not very happy. I know there are a couple of period romantic type of like drama that are ongoing at the same time. There's this one that's just finished, I think, the Heiress that I talked about before. A new one just started airing yesterday, which is led by Xing Zhaoling and Xiao Yan. I can't even remember the Chinese. The Chinese name is San Jia, married 3 times, but that's definitely not the English title. Can't remember. Anyway, then there's also the Shaonyu Maiden Homes that's ongoing. I took a look at it. Didn't stick with me, but it did stuck with a friend of mine. She really likes it. I just don't get it. Although I have to say the male lead from Maiden Homes, because his face is very distracting to me. I can't keep watching because he looks like literally a blend. The top part of his face looks like the actor Liu Xueyi from Love and Redemption, the bad guy from Love and Redemption. And the lower half of his face looks exactly like Lai Yi, who is from Jiaxing, who is the Da Shishong in 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms. One of the Lai Yi is one of the actors belonging to Jiaxing. He looks like really the top half and like the face can be cut into 2 and like it belongs to 2 person. So every time I look at him, I just see those 2 actors. I get so distracted. He's good looking, but Maiden Home's story is, again, it's just so you know, like it is still a sort of detective story that really just doesn't have any exciting cases in it. It's just like falling in love under the pretense of a detective, ancient setting detective story. Yeah, what else? What else is going on? I think a couple more are coming. Like there's so many dramas. Like this year is just crazy. I think Zhao Lusi's drama will come out soon. There's another drama that will... Oh, Luo Yunxi and Bai Lu's drama, the contemporary drama, may come out very soon. They haven't set the date yet, but very soon. And then Long Night is gonna come probably very soon after Sisyphus, which ended today. So, I don't know, like, too many things. Sleepless Princess. I'm like, goodbye this drama. After they did what they did, which is they aired it till episode 35, they put the ending into an extra episode you actually have to pay extra money for. So even if you're a VIP subscriber of Mango TV, you're still not gonna see the ending of this drama if you don't pay extra money. It literally is 付费, which is pay money to see that ending when she wakes up on the cliff and then all the thing that happens. I'm like, F you. It's worse than 超前点播. It's worse than seeing it before, because if you see it, like if pay money to see it ahead, okay? But if you don't want to, you can wait for a couple of weeks and it will still come out. Your VIP can still watch it. But for Mango, it's so ugly they did that. It's like you actually have to pay. Doesn't matter when you come back to this. If you want to see the ending of this drama, you have to pay. I'm like, no. So that drama dies for me at that point. Although I really like Zheng Yecheng, right? But like I'm like, no way, bye. Midsummer's Full of Love, have no time to check it out yet. Love is sweet or whatever. Like people just can we just translate the titles more literally so that it's easier to remember? I don't understand why those people do that in China. Everything is love something. I can't remember. There are literally hundreds of dramas with love in the title. It's so annoying. It makes the drama instantly cheap, basically. If I see a love in a Chinese drama translation title, I'm like, minus, like already taken a level, a rating level, because it's so annoying. Yeah, the Chengyi drama, Chang'an Nuo. I talked about that many weeks ago in one of the weekly video. I talked about how long the trailer was and how it's exactly like Xiaozhuang Mishi, but it was the original version had Ma Jingtao and Ning Jing leading it. So there's no way that the new actors can ever like overtake the quality of that acting. No way, okay? Just don't even expect that. It's gonna be a long-ass, draggy remake put into a different dynasty, but exactly the same love story. And Tencent is doing it to milk the popularity Chengyi has got after Love and Redemption. So I would not have a really good outlook for that at all. It's like the pearls and the jade are before it, and they're remaking it. It's definitely not gonna work to the same level. I don't even have a doubt in my head about that. So it's just look pretty. Like currently you have high definition, you have 16:9 ratio, everything looks posher, prettier. You have CGI for sure, but in terms of acting quality, I'm pretty sure like the female lead, there's no way she's gonna even come close to what Ning Jing can do. So Eternal Love 3 based on 1 or 2. I don't know. I'm curious to see what kind of more time travel, space travel, parallel universe thing they can pull. Because the 1 and 2 already have done crazy stuff with how they design the weird world, right? Of the main leads. The third one needs to top that. And in this particular romantic genre that is still not really sci-fi, I don't know how far they can push it. We'll see. Oh, marry me. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's very direct. 三架. What else? I think Disney. I've already talked about makeup and costume, so you can like later go back to listen to it. It's just see my face already explain that to you. Don't take it seriously at all. If you think it's ugly, just acknowledge it's ugly, because I think it's ugly to any humans. Does not matter if you know anything about ancient Chinese makeup, it is plainly ugly. I don't know who comes up. Probably the production company decides whatever the English title would be. And clearly, like, not very capable people are like doing that work. They should just outsource it to me. I'll make it really good for each and every one of them, for sure. But hey. Haiyaah. It's Uncle Roger. Fried egg rice, like basically the same. When I'm watching Mulan, I'm basically haiyaah all the time. Not sure about the back kids director or writer, I have to say. Not quite sure about what they're working on. Sometimes they wouldn't let you know until like it's consolidated, so you wouldn't be able to find any. Like they don't tell who, like they don't just tell people what we're working on. So Umbrella Academy, 2nd season, what is that? No idea. Yeah, it is insult to China. So just like Orientalism. You know, it's funny because many years ago. Oh, it's gonna leak my age. Anyway, many years ago, before the days of social media and streaming services, when I was doing film study, my graduation, because we had to do a project, literally a film done Super 16 film, 10 minutes, and then an essay. So you have 2 parts of the graduation project. And my essay was the representation of China on Western screen. And I like, in that, I was just like, 无情吐槽, right? I ranted so much about the misrepresentation that you see in all kinds of Western films and stuff. I mean, it's been many years, okay? It's enough for for a baby to grow to the age when they want to explore their sexuality. Yet nothing has changed. Like, not even a bit. Like, Mulan has proven it hasn't moved on at all. How fascinating. Still haven't covered Recovery Love Redemption. Love and Redemption. Love and Redemption, the later episodes are so... It's so for the sake of creating that conflict that they write it. It does not follow any logic. It gave up on any of the people's logic at all. Like, and also the female lead is just so... Like, they write her as a totally stupid person who cannot just get... She can let herself get manipulated so easily by the bad guy. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, like among episode 45 to 50, you know, the plot that happens in Love and Redemption, because I just clicked in and check a little bit, and I go, what the heck is this? And then I go away. She's so unreasonably stupid. It's just... It's 为虐而虐 for the sake of torturing the audience, and you know, like, it tortures the audience or it tortures the character. It totally is for that very fake, forced energy that does not follow logic at all. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And also those chemical foamy snow looks so bad. Oh my god. Variety shows. I think there are a couple of really interesting ones. There's one that's about what's the star version of the 密室逃脱, like getting out of those room with puzzles. It's and another new one is coming. They're filming it. It's literally called ha 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 ha. It's like 5 ha, and I think Luhan is in it too, but I don't know when that one is coming out. So a couple of new ones are on their way. I don't know what's the process between releasing releasing dramas. It's very complicated. It will be many different moving parts trying to come together and figure it out. Definitely there's a lot of power behind playing it. Like, you know, like how Tencent this year has shown that because they have such a big collection of dramas that they've made, they've invested, that they own. So they will just see who is popular, whether it's on their own platform right now because of airing of a drama, or on other platforms. They just see, oh, for example, after The Bad Kids got really popular, they immediately released Song of Glory, which is led by Qin Hao, to milk that leftover heat. But it's like from iQIYI, right? So they took it over. And then Chen Qianqian is the same thing, because Mango was airing Intense Love and they see Ding Yuxi coming up, so they immediately aired Tiger and Rose and got really big. So that's a really successful move. They hardly need to do any promotion. People just go straight to the drama because they want to see this actor. For Love and Redemption too. Love and Redemption is really popular right now, like the most popular a fantasy drama in China. So immediately, like even before, like literally on the day that the last episode is finishing for the people who want to pay money, they're saying we're releasing 长安诺 now, because they want to milk Chengyi's popularity of that. So Tencent is doing free promotion, like for itself. Like it doesn't even need to do anything because they know this actor is currently hot. We're just gonna go back to our like portfolio and see what is lying there in the pool of dramas we have, we can air at any time, and then just put it out. And it is very sneaky, super sneaky for sure. But it also shows Tencent can do it because they have so much stuff on their hand. They are really the monopolizing power now. We'll see what happens. Okay, just looking at a couple of dramas for years. Do you know how many dramas gets made every year in China? And like 70% of them don't get to be shown. It's just common. So in terms of like having stuff on shelf, it can be many reasons. And it depends on each case. So you can never say what exactly is like all the stuff like applied to all. There isn't one. Depending on what particular project. Like they can have a drama and suddenly one of the main actors has some really big scandal happening, so that thing gets shelved forever or for a long time. Or they could be about to air and then suddenly the policy changes. It's like, okay, for this period of time this year, we're not gonna air any period drama because Guangdian says so. Okay, so it's shelved again. And maybe one particular person is super popular now, so they bring that forward. Maybe there's other reasons. So depending on particular project, there can be a million reasons why stuff gets shelved. Who knows? Yeah, Mrs. is a remake of the Australian drama. They bought the copyright and they remade it. I haven't really watched it extensively. I'm not really fond of it because the cases are so, again, meh. Like a detective drama, give me good cases, otherwise I just can't get into it. Fate General may come out this year. Not sure when. We have like, what, 4 months left, so we'll see. Yeah, there are original ones. This year there are a couple of really successful ones too. It's just not as many. But some of them are really good. Like 民国奇探 is, My Roommate is a Detective is original. I've Fallen for You is original. The there's another original. A couple of I can't recall immediately, but there are a couple of really good ones this year that are original script. Yeah. Tianjin Mystic 2 final review? Probably not. Because I'm really tired after watching like that one. I was like, I don't know if I want to keep watching the series because I just don't get it, Series 1 energy from the Series 2 at all. Yeah, Crossfire is original script, obviously. See, like my brain is just so filled with stuff, it couldn't work. 亲亲子经 I haven't really checked it out yet. Like I said, the similar type of drama, like 亲亲子经, there are like 4 or 5 that are ongoing right now. I'm like, I don't even know which one to look at first. Too many. This year is insane. It's like 3 years amount of drama crammed into one. Yeah, oh, okay, something is running really fast. Okay, I'm just trying to catch some people. Last quarter of the year. I need to think about it. There are so many. I don't have the list right in front of me, so I may just not remember it. Thank you. Somebody sent a super chat. And I can see what it is. Callie? Santa Marina. Thank you. Do you have your top drama so far this year yet? Thank you for loving my channel. Thank you for a super chat. I have a couple of. This year really had... I don't have a favorite because there are multiple ones, like many. Like I really liked, so I would call them... There isn't a super success drama till this point to me this year, but there are smaller successes that each I enjoy. So pretty much every month I have one that I really like. The most recent one would be Crossfire, that I really liked. And then when I think back on each month, there's one. At least one that I liked. So I'm really happy in that case is because I'd rather have many smaller successes in the drama land than just one big drama that kind of covers the entire year. because that means you have more choices. There's a variety of stuff out there, and more people gets noticed, right? Like more work, diversity. Last year is pretty much, in terms of for younger audiences, I think for older audiences it's different story. For people who use internet mostly, it was Untamed and Joy of Life. Both period dramas kind of like got really big in 2019. This year, none of the dramas that has happened to this point has gotten to that point of popularity, I'd say. So it may be a good thing. Oh, okay. I'm just like trying to look at people's. I don't even have that essay because it's a long time ago, and it must be somewhere back home in China on some of my I don't know which hard drive has it, but it's not with me currently in any form. It's too long ago, an essay. I don't even remember what I wrote in that, but I know the title. Murderous Fair in Horizon Tower. Yeah, that's a good one too. I've made a review about it. In the Name of the Family. Go ahead. I didn't watch till the end, but I know what happened. Because it's literally on social media feed every day. Like all the snippets. So I know what happened. I don't have like big problems with all the actors in the drama. I just don't like the story. Nivarna Fire 2 now will... I probably still get... So both Nivarna will get my 3 gold mine ratings. That's it. If you're curious. Yeah, I have reminded myself many times to write and a blog of all the dramas I've reviewed previously and add that rating on them. I just keep forgetting. Because I recently just did an editing. Like I spent like 4 days not really doing much apart from editing. Because I submitted some editing to Bilibili's 2020 mixed cut competition. But I don't know if it's gonna get anywhere, and the particular style probably isn't what they're looking for. So we'll see. But I just spent 4 days of my life really not doing much apart from editing. So I keep putting it off. I'm very sorry. This person, if you just keep showing that political thing, keep Chinese culture alive and FCCP, I'm gonna kick you out. Okay? This is not the place for you to say that. And very weirdly, it's very hard to do that here. Anyway. Just be civil and nice, okay? Okay, let's just look at a few more. I think YouTube takes a cut of everything you earn. I'm not sure exactly how much. Because I don't really get that much super chat anyway, so I never actually looked into it. You're trying to... My screen is just not showing the comments in a very easy to see way. Great. Winter Begonia is good, yeah, but it's based on a book. 想见你. 想见你 aired at the end of last year into this year, so it's kind of crossing the year. Thank you. The Sun Wukong video. Social credit score. Like, okay. Baiyu's new drama with Daylight, yeah, the Qiao Jia I talked about last week, it's confirmed he's gonna be in it. So Saturday's video probably I will talk about that, but yeah, it's confirmed he will be there. fan video about Zhao Bingbing and Xiaofeng. The current stuff that I have for both dramas, I don't see how they can work into a really convincing story. Maybe like very small things, but I haven't felt inspired in terms of writing that. Writing a script in my head and then make it into an edit. I'm not sure if I can do that. Review old dramas, Scarlet Heart. Yeah, I should. When I'm not swamped by new dramas, I should talk about more like old dramas. When I see like I have time to talk about it, it definitely is a possibility. It's just like 2020, honestly, this year. It has been too crazy. There's so many new dramas, like twice as much as last year. I just keep bombarding you. Can't even catch up with all the new stuff. It's just like, The Girls. I started, then I forgot. I think I watched the first 5 minutes. And something stopped me and I never went back. Thank you for reminding me. There's another drama that I haven't caught up with. What's my major in China? My university happened in England. So my high school and before that happened in China. And then more university happened in Canada, so that's it. Inside Man. Yeah, I haven't. I know it exists. See how many dramas are? Like, I think I'm already the YouTuber on YouTube who has watched most Chinese dramas, at least as far as I can see. Still, it's not even close to how many dramas are out there. I don't even know how to pick it. Is there like a dozen in front of you? It's like, which one do you pick? I don't think China is doing a lot of K-drama remakes, some of them. Yeah, I know The Ordinary Glory is a remake of a Korean drama. Well, there are dramas in Korea as well. I don't think it's too many. It may just be an easy way, you know, like, it's easy, right, to think about that. It's same as IP novel. It's like, you know, it has worked before and some people know it already, so maybe it will work this time too, so we don't really need to spend too much time writing the script. I think I'm lagging again. Anyway, maybe that's the reason. And because too many dramas get made every year in China, so the quantity is in itself very big, so obviously you're gonna see more of each genre too. Brahms. I'm not sure what Chinese what that is. Maybe it's just often that the title thing is confusing because I don't know what particular thing's title is. Favorite drama of all time. I don't have a favorite drama of all time. I have too many favorite dramas of all time. Midsummer is, yeah, Full House remake. Yeah, that's true. Haven't seen that because I didn't like Full House. Like, the original Korean version felt really boring to me. So I didn't even really watch like the original Korean version that much. So the remake would be like, I don't know if I would even have time to click into that. Yeah, the drama version, original one of Ordinary Glory. I haven't seen it. I'm planning to see it if I find time because a friend of mine said it's really, 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 really good. I'm like, okay. Murder's Fair. I don't know if it's gonna be top 3 because this year hasn't finished yet. And definitely has a Bad Kids place in it. And then, yeah, I haven't really looked through the entire year, right? So, may not be in the first 3, but probably top 10 for sure. Because this year really has many dramas I like. Korean drama. Is it currently ongoing? Cause I'm not sure if that's translated in the same way from the English word into Chinese. I'm guessing you're meaning a particular drama, but I'm not sure if it is. If it is, I haven't seen it, but I've heard there is a drama that's ongoing in Korea currently that's really, really good. This year we've got Couple, that's really good. I still haven't watched it. I just find like I don't even have time to watch Chinese dramas. Yeah, I stopped at Zhu Yilong's reboot drama about around episode 20. Haven't picked it up yet. Whole Light Woman is good. So simply just put it, good. Whole Light Woman. No. I'm mixing it up with something else. Whole Light Woman. I think I know which one it is, but I haven't seen it. Yeah, I'm mixing up with Stray Hot Woman, so. Hello, for whoever comes here to say hello. Watch it replay, yeah. It's already 1 hour. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to stop it in 20 minutes. Otherwise, this video is gonna get really long again. Like, live stream is so easy to get overly long. And I know like most of my like the people who show up on my stream are really lovely and kind, and you stay with Drama World, which I really, really highly appreciate. Yeah. And like I said, if you go crazy about political stuff, I'm gonna kick you out of here. Because don't want to spend too much time talking about those things. Infernal Affair, yeah, I know, it's a movie. And there are many movies in that. Like 3, 4, 3, yeah. And then the Scorsese Departed is based on it. It's a good series if you want to watch. I would recommend that. Yeah. Also, just a side note, because somebody showed up on my stream today. Just want to let people know, wherever you are, just don't buy into whatever the media always tells you, because they make up stories that are so far-fetched that's worse than fiction, like the cheapest web novel fiction version that you can possibly see. And it's not easy being Chinese these days in 2020, because the whole world just kind of like, you know, there are people who have their agendas and who want to do stuff here and there. Try to stay away from that, but if people keep coming at me, I'm just gonna say normal person and Chinese person. And unfortunately, both my parents are Communist Party members, and they have been for many years in their life, and they're very nice people. And I have many nice people in my life, uncles, aunts, whoever, like, who are all. Like, do you realize it's close to 100 million people in China who are a member of a Communist Party? And it's just a normal thing. People eat, people have sex, people have babies. You know, people fight for their powers, and people are lovely in other ways, the same way as everyone else in this world. There isn't a machine, a weird machine that takes out your humanity called CCP. And once you get in there, you are like a robot and no longer having any human emotions, and you do horrible things. And like, where do you get that idea from? So, if you want to know, you know, all my life, I've just seen people as good people, bad people, questionable people. That's all they are. In terms of whatever that other tax that it just happens in a particular society. That's it. People have such magically weird ideas. It's like you live in that Orientalism, but it's a modern version of Orientalism that you build up in your brain that has nothing to do with reality. So, let's just keep it to dramas. But if you want to get really political, you know, you're gonna make my channel very problematic for me. And I don't want to see that. But does not mean I don't have opinions. I just don't see like why I need to talk about that on this channel, and people need to talk about that here. I think I've seen that 1,000-year fashion video, you know? I can't quite remember. I would highly recommend if you want to look into that, you look at Chinese made videos, research videos into those things, because the Western ones are really, 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 let's just say, unreliable. Because even the Chinese people haven't really quite figured out what each dynasty looks like. It's not like ancient people have photography left today. You know, it's hard work trying to figure that out. It's lagging again. Internet doesn't... I don't know if it's my problem or it's YouTube's problem. I can never find that out. And there's no optimization I can do on my end. I already have the internet as fast as I said. Can I have thumbs up? Longest Day in Chang'an quality drama. If you're talking about cinematography, this year period drama, probably not yet. Because that director is known to be a crazy cinematographer. Like, he would actually invent stuff that never got used before to film stuff. Like, when you watch Longest Day in Chang'an, there are a couple of shots that were done with insane new lighting design that allows them to film daylight shots that's actually moving. So it's they're on a moving, like the person is running on they're riding a horse and you're chasing it. You can see the sky, you can see the entire street, and it's a shot that takes place for a long period of time. It's entirely filmed at night. So they take out the CGI out the night sky into the white sky of a day, and then they lit the set in the way that you cannot tell it's filmed at night outdoor. Not many dramas are that hardcore, you know, when you think about how far they want to go with the technical aspect. So Chang'an Longest Day in Chang'an's director is a junkie on cinematography. Not many people would be willing to spend that much to do that. Yeah, the thing is, if I change platform, a lot of people will not know this. Like, they will not know it comes up. It's just a lot of work for people to move platforms, realistically speaking. It will be easier because most of my audiences are on YouTube. It will be easier for you to see it here. Yeah, that's just, unfortunately. Companies, acting schools. The thing is, I don't really have like first-hand resources to talk about that in detail. That would actually be interesting enough, I think. I didn't like Chang'an's story, right? I don't think it's a good storytelling drama. It just looks really good. Really, really good. Favorite director, photographer, actors? Yeah, no. Favorite is the hardest thing for me. It's not necessarily 选择困难症. It's not necessarily the difficulty of picking and choosing syndrome. It's more like, I am so greedy. There are too many things and people and whatever I love. It's impossible for me to pick favorite. It's just like, I love everything. You know, only little kids do the choices thing. Adults take it all, want it all, okay? Cinematography in Hero, yeah, because Zhang Yimou is also known to do that. He's also a cinematographer before he becomes a director. So all those cinematography origin directors are like that. But they tend to create stories that are not strong enough. Like, they're really good at visual, but lacking writing abilities. Jin Yong novel, yeah. Try looking over. I have a talk on Jianghu, but not necessarily on all his novels, because Jin Yong has so many novels. Don't panic. I am not moving from YouTube. Because there really is very little sort of choices anyway for me. Drama. And if is BL, would it be as good? I mean, the original novel is soft BL. Like, it doesn't go very far, but in terms of the Mei Changsu and Jin Wang's relationship, it's definitely more pronounced in the novel version than the drama. The drama much more is about brotherhood and loyalty and that type of good sort of value thing, but the book is definitely hints, like, had more fun, right, with the male CP. Let's just say. Return of the Condor Hero. The entire Condor Hero, like the first, the second, the third, they're I think the most popular ones. Plus Tianlong Babu, probably those are the most popular ones. Zhang Yimou movies are pretty. Yeah, but some of them are okay. Some of them are really lacking in the storytelling department. Like Heroes is so stream of consciousness thing. It just looks really pretty, but the story is so basic. Wuxia is human. So wuxia is easy to categorize. It's just human fighting humans with really strong abilities that include some cool CGI, but they cannot be immortal. They cannot get resurrected from death. They do not have flying in the clouds and then fighting demons ability. So that's wuxia. And then xianxia are the fantasy world where you can turn into a bird. It's easy to tell. Wuxia, wu literally means the martial art stuff, right? And xia is paladin, that's how they translate. So, you know, human. Xianxia, xian is fairy or god, so that's easy to tell. Xianxia is the not regarding any physical world law drama. Red Lantern. Yeah, Red Lantern is good. Older films are better. Much better in terms of story quality. Very depressing, but also very good. 鹿鼎记 is popular too, yeah. But 鹿鼎记 is, in many ways, it's no longer a wuxia novel. It is more like a observation of the... It's a satire, really. 鹿鼎记 is very satirical. It's not really focused on wuxia anymore. It's kind of like at the end of the writer's evolution, that his work, that no longer just focused on the build-up, made-up world of Wuling in his mind. It has a lot of reference to reality. So it's like a matured literature work that has the outward appearance of being wuxia. iQIYI's international version should be accessible, but depending on which country you're in, certain dramas may not be available depending on particular copyright. iQIYI's international version is iq.com. iQ. So it's all in English. If you can find the drama there, you can watch, then it all has subtitles. Then Tencent is WeTV. Youku doesn't have one, I don't think, international one. Yeah, Chen Kaige's peak is Farewell. That's it. Never outperformed himself. But it also has a lot of, like, you know, a film is never one person's work. It has a lot of element putting into it and influencing the final result. It could be a really good scriptwriter is having a lot of say on that. It could be, like, it just has too many influences. I would just say his later works never got such a good crew doing it together. Empress Key, I did watch. I really liked it. Although its depiction of Yuan dynasty is totally just laughable. Nothing is like based on history in terms of the looks of things or the people's like. It just no. That's just does not look Chinese at all. Like particularly Mongolian root China. But the story is good. Acting is brilliant. I love those leads. Still one of my favorite. In terms of like the ancient setting, imperial court Korean dramas about that like really torturing love thing. Love the male lead. I think his portrayal of the a little slightly psychotic emperor is so good. But also because they speak Korean, it's weird to me, and also because they just don't look anything like Yuan dynasty Chinese court. Like nothing looks right. I have no idea why Crossfire is not available. I don't understand why. It just may be that they've sold it already to a overseas copyright holder who would decide to do something with it that they have no control over. I just see maybe that's the reason they can't put it on their own platform. Because it could happen. Or maybe there's some kind of, I don't know what goes behind the contract of each production. Okay, couple of more minutes. It's getting long. Yeah, Korean version of Yuan Dynasty, obviously, because it's made in Korea. Korea, like you can't honestly ask them to get really like deep into the research, because it's really not easy either when you try to research any costume beyond the Ming Dynasty. Ming is the dynasty where you can still have actual stuff left today, that you can go to a museum, you can look carefully at how it's made, textile. Anything further back kind of is no longer here. It's only paintings or writing, like records of text, and it's hard trying to figure out exactly what things look like. You can only look at portraits, you can only look at stuff that's been recorded. So yeah, Duboku is a good place to go. It has all the dramas, but it doesn't have subtitles either, so. Too many Chinese dramas, and there really isn't. I don't think they even consider subs as something they would do for every drama, so. Okay, so I'm gonna be here for another 5 minutes. Do you have more stuff you wanna talk about? Ask, whatever. And then we can end this. First hour, first 50 minutes ranting about Mulan, and the rest talking about ongoing dramas. And kicking people out. Like I always say, we should realize we're much more alike than we are different. And I mean, the world is really effed up anyway. It's more important that people try to understand each other and work together, instead of like always just trying to blame stuff on other people, or you know, trying to imagine an enemy out that you need to fight off. It's just as if we don't have enough problems, you know. It's just sad that after so-called civilization for this couple of thousands of years, we're still at this place that we haven't agreed. Like, we should all just treat each other fairly. Evolution is too slow. We're essentially very much the same as 2,000 years ago, or 3,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, tribal people. Although we have science. Sad. I don't know, because I don't really watch WeTV, because I just watch Tencent's Chinese version, so I don't know what's going on WeTV. I know there probably are some differences. Empress Keys. Costume, it's not just bad, it just has nothing to do with history anyway. So, although historically, at that time, the Korean country did send girls into Yuan court, and that kind of continued into Ming Dynasty as well. It did happen, but pretty much everything else is made up, like the look of things, you know. Although historically there is an empress who's from Korea, that's true. But in terms of like who she is and how she got there, probably everything is made up in that drama. Love Yourself, I didn't. Nobody watched it, actually. Like, none of my friends in the review world watched it. I haven't seen even one post of that drama on my social media feed. So I'm guessing most people are not picking it up. Yeah, thank you. Q1025. I'm tired of that too. You know, it's just you do you, I do me, and we are like peace. That's fine. It gets into problematic world when I'm trying to make you do me. You know, like you have to follow what I do because I'm correct. You're wrong. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. If yours work good for you, it's good. You know, just keep doing what you do, and then don't stick your nose into other people's business. It's a basic thing. Like, would you ever interfere with your neighbor in terms of what they're gonna eat for dinner tomorrow? You know, see? To my dears, to dear myself, to my dear self, I just can never remember the English title. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm like, I'm not eager to go back in terms of like wanting to find out what happens to the people. And I get spoiled every day when I look at Chinese social media feed because little snippets come out, so I know what's going on. Yeah, I have seen like a lot of TVB. Like if say all those major sort of 90s to the early 2000s TVB dramas, I probably have watched them all the major ones. Is there any drama that Qin playing? Okay, the recent Sanjia, the Marry Me, at least the look of Qin is correct, like in terms of how they placed it. In terms of playing, the hands are in the right area, but the movement are definitely, like you can tell, they don't know how to play it. And also, there's a close-up of the Qin in the Marry Me, very beginning of the drama, when Wu Qilong shows up. And he, as we would all expect, use it as a weapon of like the CGI flies out. If you look closely at the close-up, there's one problem with that Qin, which is all the strings are exactly the same width, which is not real. The one that's closest to you would be the thinnest one because it's the highest one, and then the one further from you is like thicker. So that's a detail. So probably the prop people just randomly bought some Guqin string, but they didn't know which one to put on. So it didn't look exactly right, but it's like not that bad. At least they put the head hovering over the table, not on the table. I'll give them that. In terms of playing it correctly, I think you can only find that in films. A couple of films have done it okay, because higher standard for filmmaking. But in terms of drama, I don't think there is one that actually plays it correctly, unless they use hand double. I think there's one shot in the Untamed that they got a hand double to play around episode 23 or 24, Lan Wangji. Only that one shot. Everything else is not really correctly done. Just Yeah, TVB old dramas are good because they're focused on characters and storytelling. Even though their sets, their other stuff are cheap. Stories are good, but they have also moved on from that. These days, some of the drama coming out there is just bad storytelling. Either the same, like as bad as mainland. Snow Tower, I haven't really watched it much, so I don't know what kind of instrument gets played in that. Crazy Rich Asian. I've seen that. Yeah, I've watched a film. And I'm like, it's not my life. I don't know any crazy rich people in my life. If I do, I probably wouldn't be here. Trying to be a YouTuber, so I have no idea if it's actually a reasonable depiction of crazy rich Asians. Hey. Sets of TVB, the bowl, like, do you remember the joke about the rooster bowl that shows up in every period drama that's made in TVB? It's like ancient artifact. Okay, so okay, this is gonna go to 2 hours, and I'm gonna let it happen. So, cause it's already 12:49 where I am. I'm just gonna run this into 13, and I'm gonna stop. People can randomly add stuff here in chat, and we talk about other things, and then we'll have 10 minutes more. Yeah, TVB's golden age is gone. Because I don't think they managed to capture the trend that's more on the technology side of things. Because in the last 10 years, internet, everything to do with internet streaming has developed so much. It has taken over television. And they just didn't, like, you know, they are the previous generation of media, type of media that's being substituted by the new internet age. Yu Zheng's return of Yu Zheng. Chen Diao. I feel so bad for Chen Yanxi because she's a pretty good actress, but it's really a miscast for her. And no matter how hard she tries, you know, she just isn't for the character, so she gets so much hate for no good reason. But 神雕侠侣 or 射雕英雄传, 倚天屠龙记, those 3 books they're so remade. Like, how many times? You can't even, like, you lose count of how many times they got remade. It's good, but it's exhausting already. The story has been played too many times. There's little new thing left there. So, personally, I am not a... Like, I don't understand why people keep making them. You should just leave Jin Yong to cool off for a couple of years, even a decade or 2, before you revitalize it, but with the later perspective, and probably things would have moved on, right? So there will be a different way of looking at it, a different generation of people looking at old works. That may just give it a little bit more energy, a new angle of looking at it. Currently, it's overdone. Red Mansion, do you mean 红楼梦? Yeah, 红楼梦 needs another decade or 2 to get remade. Right now is the worst time. Because I am such an expert in 红楼梦. No, not really. Not even close to being an expert, but definitely knowing much more than the average person. So, I think right now is the worst time. If you want to remake 红楼梦, don't do it now. You're gonna ruin it and ruin your own reputation at the same time. Bad idea. No, I will not make a video reviewing Love Yourself because I haven't even seen it. Sorry about that. And there are too many dramas I need to watch, and I probably wouldn't be able to pick up most of them either. So this one, It's definitely gonna be so far behind the list. 小笼包小龙女 Yeah, in the Yuzhong version. It's so unfair to Chen Yanxi. If Black Myth was released, would you play it? It's at least 3 years away if it ever gets finished. It depends on if by that time I have a television and a console. Because currently I don't have one. You can see this is my living room. There isn't a television. Would you also upload a let's play? What do you mean by let's play? Dance with the Phoenix. 1 or 2 episodes and I dropped out. It's such an average setup of 仙侠 drama. No. To be a fantasy 仙侠 drama these days in China, to capture my attention, it needs to do something that is groundbreaking. Otherwise, I'm just like, I've seen that too many times. Goodbye. Dance of the Sky Empire. Probably no, because I haven't seen it either. I watched like 1 or 2 episodes and I dropped out. I need to be a fan of the lead actor that much more to be able to continue watching it, which I'm not. See how many dramas have happened this year already that I haven't seen? Like, I feel like I've seen too many, but then I look at the ones I haven't seen, I'm like, Black thing you sit in front of your review. Yeah, it's a digital piano that I had for a long time, but I don't play it. Piano is an instrument that doesn't connect with me. Like, mostly I just use it as a tuner. Like, it was okay, what key it is in, because I don't have perfect pitch, so I can't tell like what key things are in. Like, I have no ability of doing that, so I would just use it to, and it's electronic, so it would never like go out of tune. That's what it's for me. I hardly ever play it. I feel really bad about it, so I use it as a table, side table. Wolf is gonna release this year. I have no idea. I don't know. It depends on if they think it's a good time to release it anymore. 那后小站也许 Yeah, it's just like complicated and not pretty. So it's not I won't be watching anymore. Like, I will check it out and then I can very quickly gauge if it's worth watching. That's the thing. And when something like really tropey shows up and I'm like, okay, that again, I see like where they're going. Like, it's so obvious, like the bad people, who is gonna be the bad person and how they're gonna be bad and what they're gonna do. I'm like, again, okay. I would just quit at that point. I mean, Love and Redemption is popular now, but the thing with me is the story doesn't work, the logic fails. In terms of why it's popular, so many people love it, I understand, but it just doesn't work for me. And there are a lot of fangirls out there, right? Fangirling the male lead mostly. Unfortunately, he just totally misses it's just my personal thing is I don't get it. Like, in terms of the attractiveness of being a male lead. He all his points do not hit this target. Like, all the darts that fly out from him completely miss me. So I don't get it at all. And I've watched enough episodes to know that it just doesn't work on me. I know it works on a couple of other people. Some of them really like him. I'm like, it's good for you. You know, I'm happy that you are enjoying that drama and having fun with it. It just doesn't work for me. So even the thing of 科研, of looking at pretty faces thing for drama is not like working for me for love and redemption. Therefore, it just like becomes very irrelevant to me. In terms of freeing Xiao Zhan's dramas, because he has a couple, Wolf wouldn't be so big a thing because he's not the major, like he's a supporting role. The other two, I don't know. Because the thing is, as soon as you release, right, there will be a fight on the internet about the site that totally just want him to disappear from entertainment business for good. And then there will be a side who will fiercely go out and fight for. So by this point, it doesn't matter who is right or wrong. That, like, it's no longer important. The thing is, it's gonna cause trouble. So for the production and for the platform, they need to be very careful in terms of if they do something, how it would affect them, negatively or positively, and whether it's worth taking that risk. Because once you air something, you kind of like, that's the only way the drama makes money, is you have to air it. Like all the advertisement, all the contracts gets finalized because it actually get aired. So if you don't do that, the money never comes back to you. So from production perspective, they would really want to air it. But then the platform may be thinking, if this airs, right, what would it do to me in terms of like whether it's worth, you know, and Tencent is like a big company, right? It can take on some kind, because it's already losing money anyway, like QQ. So they don't particularly care if they lose more. So they have to gauge like what is the best move for them, and it gets complicated. It's just it's already 2 hours and 2 minutes. Holy. Let me just take a quick look. See if it's any final stuff that I need to look at. I'm not against casting Korean actors and actresses in Chinese dramas, but it definitely runs into the problem of the language never works quite well, so they need to dub, and then when they're acting, it would affect their acting for sure. In terms of I speak one language, you speak another. Unless, like, say, they cast, for example, a Korean actress into a Chinese drama, and then the actor happens to be Lu Han or Wu Yifan or Huang Zitao, then they can definitely communicate. At least the guy would understand what the girl is saying in Korean. I was in England for 4 years. In the place called Buckingham. Not the Buckingham Palace, but Buckinghamshire. It's tiny. It's like 1 hour train ride from London. Okay, just quickly looking at what people are saying. Yeah, the bad guy in Love and Redemption. He's been around for many years and he hasn't really been a lead. He's really good looking, but he just never gets the lead role. Yeah, if you're curious about the guidelines of the censor, go back and watch my Q&A video. I talked about that. There is no guidelines. Lovely, isn't it? There's no written down rules about this can be made, that cannot be made. No. But then you are supposed to kind of know what cannot be touched. That's the beauty of the bureaucracy. Because once you have clear guidelines, you see what happens, which is then people are gonna say this does not go against your guideline, you have to let me air. And then the censor board is like, yeah, we have no choice because they really didn't go against that. So basically it takes away the power of the censorship board. And a lot of the times it probably has nothing to do with in terms of the government wants to control people's value, all that thing. It may just come down to the particular bureaucracy, the bureau that holds the power. The people who work there want that power because that means money. Do you understand like how realistic it is? It's like, if you really want this thing to get past censorship, then you have to kiss my ass. It may just be that. Because once you have guidelines that's clearly written down, you have totally surrendered your power. And you can no longer stop people from releasing their stuff because they are not going against the rules. You lose that power. And the power means a lot of good things. But obviously there's also an element that it goes about, like, you cannot talk about certain things, and there are things about particular drama such as crime drama, you're not allowed to talk too much into the details about how the bad people did some crazy shit, clever cases, because you don't want to teach people to do those things, obvious reasons, and there are other stuff like such that you cannot show, so that's a part too. Also, if you're writing, your drama is about historical events that actually took place in history, then you cannot dramatize it too much that it totally warps the history that's recorded. That's not allowed to. So a lot of the censorship goes into that too. Yeah. I don't know what Jackie Chan issue is. Okay, so it's already running past that. Another 2 minutes, and I'm gonna say goodbye. Thank you everyone for joining in, because if I don't call a stop, this is gonna continue forever. Some people, it's already 4 a.m. at your place. You need to go to sleep, unless you don't work tomorrow. Yes, power lies in ambiguity. Correct. So that's why like films in China are not rated. Like there's no 13, 19 PG whatever. Like it doesn't, because yeah, again it's like relinquishing your power. Okay, finally 2 minutes. Any more things people want to ask? The bad guy in Love and Redemption, the character is poorly written. Because when you think carefully about his logic and about why he's being like that, it's just so tool. He's such a tool person. And honestly, like if you're a god, like in this sort of mythological background, who has so much power and who has such a high ranking in the so-called whatever Tianjie, how can you be so petty? And so not developed as a person, who's so jealous, like full of like all those spiteful qualities. Like how do you ever even get there? Supposedly when you cultivate, you become more and more enlightened, right? Understanding, tolerant, and more close to the Buddha kind of like consciousness level. Would you ever even like care about those petty things? So he is such a high-level god, and he acts like a middle school, even like primary school kid who is being jealous. Like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just immediately unconvincing. Okay, thank you, yeah. Okay, saying goodbye to most people at 3:30 a.m. Catherine. Hopefully I didn't destroy your night of sleep and rest. Yeah, please take care, everyone. I'll see you guys in the weekend video and next week. Just keep seeing you in videos. Oh, and just one final quick mentioning of the untamed figures. Once I get a couple of things I need to get in post that I need to use for packaging, I'll let people know. Like on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere I could possibly let you know. Probably even make a really short video to let you know exactly when it's gonna become available in the shop and then how you can get it. And I'm sorry that it's only Canada and US again. That wasn't my intention, but this year happened, you know? So, I think somebody's mowing grass behind me. Yeah, so, I'll let people know and how to get it and all the details. So, thank you. Thank you for being there. Had a really good time. Hopefully you've had fun too. And take care. I'll see you when I see you in my videos. Okay.